Hello students, in this lesson we will consider the modeling of sine graph. In this question we will consider the way when we constructed the formula based on the graph. So given the graph, and we should find the formula that this graph satisfies. Now we know that sine model is looked like y is equal to a sine bx minus c plus d, and in this lesson we will properly consider what each parameter stands for. So in this question is actually asked to find these coefficients a, b, c, and d. Okay, and first of all, let's list the formulas applied in this case. First of all, it's d. So even it is last letter, we will start with d. So the name of d is principal axis. It forms as y max plus y min divide by 2. So it is principal axis. Okay, now we go to a. A is amplitude. So once we found the d, we can find the amplitude by subtracting a max minus d, or we can say that it is distance from d to y minimum. It doesn't matter, I put in modulus because it's distance. Okay, you have to make sure that it is distance, and all the time this parameter is positive. Then b is equal to 2 pi over period. Okay, and we should specify what period is. The period here is x length of repeated part. X length of repeated part of the graph. Repeated part of the graph. Okay, a bit later we will turn to the graph, and then I will explain what does mean in this context. And then c is horizontal shift. If you are studying in standard level mathematics of DP, it's not required to find, but later in other questions we will consider this, but not in this question. Okay, now we specified all parameters, and now let's find. So based on the graph, we should find each parameter separately. Let's turn to first d, parameter d. So first of all, we should find the maximum, the value of maximum, and according to the graph, y max is equal to 5, right? So y max is 5, and now y minimum is 1. So it means that d for this case is equal to 5 plus 1 divided by 2, which is 3. Okay, 3. And it's not all the time will be dashed line here, but I place the dashed line just to one more time show that this is a principal axis. Okay, and now next, a, amplitude. How to find amplitude? So the maximum is 5 and the principal axis is 3. So now we use principal axis, right? So the a value, amplitude, is 2. It means that the distance from the principal axis to the maximum is 2, or distance from the principal axis to the minimum is also 2, all the time, right? Okay, now let's go to the next part, b. So to find b, we have to find the period of this function, period of this graph. The period of this graph, according to definition, is repeated part of the graph, x length of repeated part. We can say that this part is repeating, this part of the graph is repeating. Well, once we sketched, we can continue this part of the graph. And the next graph will have the same shape. That is why we're saying that the period here is 16. Period is 16 because it's x length, right? 16. So period is 16. I will write it here. Period is equal to 16. And now b, that's why, will be equal to 2 pi over 16. And after simplification, it's pi over 8. So b is pi over 8. And there is no horizontal shift because sine graph looks like this. Looks like this, and then the starting point is already here. There is no any horizontal shift. That's why c is equal to 0. Okay, that's how we get the formula. So now we can write the complete formula. So a is 2 sine pi over 8x plus 3. So this is the final formula for this question. So this is a sine model for this graph. Okay, so again, let's overview. We have a graph and we should find all 4 parameters of this graph, and according to these formulas we have found each parameter. Okay, yeah, except C. C will be considered in other video. Please subscribe. Thank you for watching. I hope this explanation was helpful for you. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.